Hi, my name is Michael Ostro, and I teach the Alexander Technique. I have many years of experience teaching people better patterns of using their bodies so they can overcome problems such as chronic neck pain or back pain, or improve their skills in areas such as sports or the performing arts. Today I'd like to talk about the dynamics of sitting and how the True Comfort back support system can help you make your sitting more comfortable and efficient. I have one of these at my home, my office, and in my car, and I recommend them to all of my clients. Now, a moment ago I used the phrase dynamics of sitting. The reason I use the word dynamic is because sitting properly is actually a dynamic process. It's not what a lot of people think. So-called good posture is not a question of sitting up rigidly in a static way and trying to fit some idea of good posture. It's actually a much more subtle question of learning how to stimulate the natural aliveness and self-supporting function of the spine. To get a better sense of this, let's look at this in model skeleton. If you look at the spine, you'll see that it's one continuous structure from the tailbone all the way up to the skull. In a living human body, there are large, very strong muscles that run up either side of the spine the entire length. Between these muscles and the bony structure of the spine, there's a lot of support for the body in the field of gravity when sitting, moving, or whatever. Another interesting feature of these muscles is that they have a large percentage of what's called non-fatigable muscle fibers. These are designed to work for long periods of time without tiring. So between the bony structure of the spine and these powerful, tireless muscles, it's possible to sit for hours on end comfortably if the structure of the body is used correctly. Unfortunately, in modern cultures, most people are not using their bodies correctly. So what happens is, when the spine is not functioning in its self-supporting mode, other muscles in the body, which are only designed for intermittent use and just superficial muscles such as ones in the neck, shoulders, ribs, begin to work so they get in a constant state of tension to make up for the lack of spinal support. So to get a sense of what most people do when they sit, this is the average person lets their body sink passively down so their spine curves. They ground their sit bones under, hunch their shoulders forward, and let their neck hang in front of their body so that their head now has to be supported by this neck way out of alignment with the spine, which creates strain. Then when they're working at the computer, they look up like this, which further compresses the neck. This way of sitting is very tiring. It's a sense of strain in the body. The breathing is suppressed because of the ribs being collapsed. And many people at this point, they realize they've been slumping and they try to correct it by doing what they think of as sitting well. So what they do is they arch their lower back forward. Like you can see, there's an arch on my back now. They stiffen their ribs and hold themselves up like this. Now the problem with this is it's only a superficial change. They're not engaging the deep self-support of the spine, and they're creating a new kind of strain in their body. So they quickly tire of this and then go back to slumping. So most people spend their day at the office between sitting up straight and arching and straining and then slumping. To make matters worse, many of the back supports in the market either exaggerate this problem or at best correct it superficially. Let's look at this one as an example. Most back supports in chairs are designed to correct the problem of slumping, and they do this by creating exaggerated lumbar support. So if you observe my back, if I try to align it with the back of this chair, you'll notice that I break the line of my spine. My shoulders are now leaned behind the line of my hips. Now it's true that I'm not slumping, but I'm not engaging the self-support of my spine, so I'm not being trained in a better way of sitting. So this is what most back supports do, and they're not actually addressing the real problem, which is how to re-stimulate the spine. So this is what the True Comfort back support is designed to do. It's both trains you into better habits of sitting and overcomes the problems faced by poor seat design. There are two simple aspects to it. First, there's a firm support for the pelvis and sit bone so that there's a base for the spine to arise from and re-stimulated self-support. Then we have a simple back guide without a lumbar support, which I will go into in a moment. I will refer to this as a back guide rather than a back support because it's not meant to use as a crutch to lean heavily into, but more as a guide to create feedback about the alignment of the spine. Now I'll show you how to attach it to a typical office chair. First, there is a strap that goes around behind the chair and can be attached either horizontally in this case or vertically depending on the type of chair. Then there is a bolster which you can attach to bring the seat into as nearly vertical a position as possible. And then for those who need it, there's a lumbar support with adjustable widths. This is still a smaller support than most chairs in the market, and it's useful for people who are just beginning to use this and are not used to sitting without such a support. For myself, I've been trained to dispense with it, so I won't be needing it for this demonstration. Now I'll show you how to use the True Comfort. First, bring your tailbone up to the back guide. Then allow the sit bones to be firmly in contact with the seat support. Next, this seems simple, but it's a little tricky. We simply want to lean the back into the back guide. The problem is most people conceive of their spine as ending here. So when they lean back, they just lean the upper part of their body back, thereby creating a gap between their back and the seat and having an arch through the lower back. So what we want to do is conceive of the unity of the spine, remember it's one piece, and then gently rock back from the sit bones until you come in contact with the back guide. This way you're having some support, but you're not using it as a crutch, and then you can use it to analyze whether you're either slumping or arching too much. This gradually strengthens your back and trains you into better habits of sitting. As I said, I own one of these and I use it at my home, my office, and in my car, and I recommend it to all my clients, and many of them have bought one or more for their own use. If you'd like further information, you can visit the website, which is truecomfort.com. Notice there's no E in True Comfort. Or you can call at 800-392-0363. Thank you for listening.